What's happening, y'all? Listen, this video right here is kind of sad to me because it has to do with my city, number one, and number two, because I knew this person personally. We wasn't real close or nothing like that. But then also number three, it just kind of shows the state of the world that we living in and what's acceptable nowadays, things that's that we feel like is okay nowadays. So I'm not 100% sure how many of you guys, because I know I have a mixed crowd on this channel because of the content that we produce on this channel. I have, you know, various different age groups and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm not sure how many of you guys are tapped into the hip hop scene. But recently there was a rapper from Maryland named GooNew. If y'all Google it, it's Goonew. If you Google GooNew, basically he was killed recently. He was killed in my city recently. Like I said, okay, so let me give you a little bit of backdrop before I go into that situation. So before I bought the house that I currently live in now, I was living in a apartment complex. Basically, it's like a project here in Prince George's County. It's right outside of DC. It's about 5 minutes outside of Washington, DC. And it's a project called Forest Creek Apartments. Like that's not even actually the name of the apartment complex, but you know what I'm saying? That's what it was since we was kids. That, you know what I'm saying, it was, I believe it was Forest Creek at one time, and now they done changed the name. You know, they had different owners and they done changed the name a bunch of times and all of that kind of stuff. But you know, we know it as Forest Creek, and basically that's where this dude GooNew is from. You know what I'm saying? So when I moved to that neighborhood, it was really a power move for me because I was kind of just stepping into my career and all of that kind of stuff, and it was a cheap place to stay. It was a, you know what I'm saying, like my rent over there was like, when I first moved over there, I had like a 2-bedroom for like $600 a month, all utilities included. It was definitely in the hood, but for me at that time, and you know, I'm used to the hood, I'm used to, you know, living in certain environments, and I'm used to it. So the fact that I was used to it and comfortable there, I felt like, you know, I could survive here, and I could also save some money so I can buy a house and all of that kind of stuff. So while I was living there, I actually met this dude, and he was a cool little dude. He was a lot younger than me, you know what I'm saying? Like at that time, I was probably, you know, in my late 20s. I was probably in like, yeah, my late 20s, and he was probably like maybe in his early 20s, maybe in his late teens, you know what I'm saying? I can't really tell, but he was real active, you know what I'm saying? He was active as a youngin' even back then. So we would bump into each other all of the time, and I would always speak, and he was always real cordial and cool and all of that kind of stuff. He was a good little dude. But anyway, he grew up and he went on to become a pretty decently established rapper in the Prince George's County, DC, DMV area. And he was recently killed. He was shot actually in the same neighborhood that he grew up in. Now, again, I'm not sure how many of you guys have seen how they did his funeral, but I felt like it was totally distasteful. I felt like it was totally like disrespectful. And I know a lot of people are saying, like, you know, his family members are the ones that chose to, you know, have the funeral this way. But I felt like it was totally distasteful. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like it was just disrespectful to him. And not only that, when we talking about some of the things that we talk about on this channel, and we discuss spirituality, and we talking about, you know, making idols of ourselves and things like that, and making idols of other people, I feel like that's one of the things that God doesn't want us to do. And so what they ended up doing was they had a funeral for this dude at the club. You know what I'm saying? At one of the local clubs in DC. It's called Bliss Nightclub. Y'all can Google it. So they had his funeral there. But instead of them, you know what I'm saying? Number one, instead of them just having like a picture of him, or instead of them having you know, even if they had him in the casket and they had the closed casket or something like that, I feel like it would have been done a little more tastefully. but they actually had this man's dead body up on stage. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if y'all haven't seen it, man, and y'all can stomach it, Google GooNew Funeral. GOONEW. Google GooNew's Funeral, and y'all will see they actually had video of this man's dead body on the stage. And I'm looking at this video and I'm like, what world is this okay in? Like, you know what I'm saying? Who okayed this? Like, from the family members to the friends to the loved ones and all of that kind of stuff. And not only that, but to the people that's hosting the venue. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. Like, I absolutely understand, man. People want to go out with a bang and all of that kind of stuff. And people want to, they want their loved one to be, you know, remembered and immortalized in some type of way that, you know, their legacy will be remembered. But I feel like with his music and with the type of dude that he was and the type of personality that he left out here in the streets and stuff like that, and his memories, I feel like that's enough. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's enough. You don't have to, like, we don't have to go above and beyond even in death. Like, we don't even respect death no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are making a mockery of people dying now. And I feel like it's a crazy time that we living in. Like, they had his body up on stage. People are in the crowd dancing, and his body is literally up on stage. They were saying, like, people in the crowd were saying that the dude's mouth looked like it was falling open. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were saying that, like, you know, it looked like his skin was melting up there because, you know, it was hot in the club. It's a real hot club, and, you know, you got a dead body just up on stage like that. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, it's like, when we talk about idolatry and symbolism and stuff like that, it looked like these people are down in the crowd worshiping this dead body. That's what it really looked like. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody that I talk to, even the people from my city, is like, I can't believe, like, I will never step foot in that club again. A lot of people have been turned off on even going back to that venue because they like, man, it's gonna be haunted in there now. And it's like, it's almost like the Travis Scott situation. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things where it's like almost like a ritual that's being done out here, and people are just okay with this. It's like we okay with, you know, just toxic behavior. Like we talk about on this channel, we talk about toxicity. We talk about, you know what I'm saying? You know, people just living foul and all of that kind of stuff. And I feel like we just accepting foul behavior. Like, how is that even okay? Number one, again, with the venue. And this is just my opinion on it. I ain't knocking nobody on what they did and all of that kind of stuff, but this is just my opinion on it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like as we progress and as we get closer and closer and closer into the end days, like the end times, like the Bible say, people are becoming lovers of themselves. People are becoming, you know, and we're idolizing people, and we're, you know, making a mockery of just living. We're making a mockery of life at this point. You know what I'm saying? I can't believe they had that man's dead body up there like that, standing up. You know what I'm saying? They could have done it tastefully and put a picture of him up there or something like that. But it's like we want to outdo each other even in death. We want to outdo each other even in the funeral. We want to have the biggest funeral, and you know what I'm saying, we want to do it the biggest way. And half of these people probably didn't show him no love when he was here. You know what I'm saying? When I used to come across him, he used to be in the streets. So it's like half of these people that, you know what I'm saying, and I can't really knock their hustle. I don't know his family or none of that, and no disrespect to his family or his friends, his loved ones. And you know, if anybody see this, I from the bottom of my heart, I don't mean no disrespect to that at all, but it just kind of shows how toxic the world that we live in and how accepting we are of unbecoming behaviors. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that that's something that man would have really wanted. You know what I'm saying? Even if he said that that's what he wanted, it's like that one of them type of things where somebody got to step in and say, hold on, man, we can't do this like that. You know what I'm saying? Somebody, it's like nobody spoke up and said, that was wrong. You know what I'm saying? Nobody had a problem with that. Like, the club was packed. It was packed in there, and it's like literally people are dancing and partying and all of that, and it's just a dead body up on stage, and that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Because when you think about it, it's like, okay, when you think about a funeral, you know, you're in the church and, you know, it's done that way. And some people want to go out with a celebration. I get that. I absolutely get that people want to go out with a celebration as opposed to going out, you know, in a sad, melancholy type of manner. But to me, I just felt like it was completely distasteful. Number one, it was a bad look for, you know, his family. It was a bad look for, you know, the realm of spirituality. It was a bad look for the venue who hosted the event. Like, I just feel like it was a bad look all the way around, you know what I'm saying? And it's one of those type of situations where, how far are we going to go with this? How far are we going to allow toxic behavior to just keep infiltrating the world that we live in? Like, this is why we're in the state that we're in now. Like, we allow too many things and we are accepting of too many things. We don't speak up on certain things that should have been checked at the door. Like, that shouldn't have even never been an option. You know what I'm saying? But that's just my take on that. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to drop that video because, again, we kind of talk about things that not accepting toxic behavior and healing from toxic behaviors. And, you know, us healing ourselves does a big part in the entire world. You know what I'm saying? If we can manage ourselves in our own household, then we can make a big impact on the entire world. But it starts with us. We got to start with ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And we have to finally draw a line and say enough is enough. Like, when are we going? Where's the line at in any of this, man? It's like, it's no line. It's everything goes out here nowadays. And you know what I'm saying? And I ain't the one, like, man, I'm not an angel by no stretch of the imagination, but literally, like, it's like anything goes nowadays. It's no checks and balances just on life. It's like literally everything is okay. Everything is just cool now. Everything is acceptable. And I think that's one of the problems, that, like, nobody stand on nothing. Nobody have any principles or any morals that's like, nah, we not gonna do this no more. You know what I'm saying? You got all the drill rappers and stuff like that that's, you know, talking crazy to each other on the records, going back and forth, and they disrespecting the dead, they disrespecting each other. It's like all this demonic energy out here, and nobody, and you got kids out here screaming demon time and all of that kind of stuff. You got kids out here that's really, you know, chasing that satanic life. And that, you know what I'm saying? And we getting to the point now where God's starting to separate us out. God's starting to, he's weeding out his people. You know what I'm saying? And he's going to separate us from the reprobate. He's going to separate us from the people that is not going to ever get their life right. And he's going to hold everybody accountable for wherever they stand at. So we got to be, like, real careful about where we stand in the stuff that we accept. You know what I'm saying? And I just felt like that was one of them. Like, that was like one of the most distasteful things I have ever seen in my life. And that's obviously, that's not the first time it's been done. I heard shawtylow did it too. shawtylow did it he went to a strip club. They took his dead body to a strip club or something like that. And then, you know what I'm saying, they started showing all of these different pictures of a bunch of different people that did it. And I'm like, you know, I feel like we'll do anything for a fad now. We'll do anything for clout. We'll do anything to be seen and all of that kind of stuff, including disrespecting the dead. And that, to me, is just like, it's gone too far. You know what I'm saying? It's going too far at this point. So, you know, that's my video, y'all. I just wanted to drop that on y'all real quick. I had to touch on that one because it was, you know, something that was kind of personal to me, because, like I said, I actually knew the dude personally. Like, we like I said, we weren't real close or nothing like that, but I did know him. We ran across each other a bunch of different times in the streets and all of that kind of stuff. And not only that, you know, it has to do with my city, but I just feel like it has to do with, you know, what we talk about on this channel. And I feel like we all need to take accountability on our own parts and start to draw the line on the things that we accept in this society. Like, you know, if everybody started really stepping into not accepting disrespect, not accepting toxic behavior, not accepting it would definitely make a big impact and change a lot of things. But we're so go along to get along that, you know, it's no change out here. It's nothing happening. We're actually progressively getting worse by the generation. If you look at, you know, by the decades, by every generation that comes out, it's like we're getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And we're not, it's no checks and balances on this. So now God gotta step in. It's like, it's no choice. So, man, I suggest everybody get right with God, man. Salute to the family.